Hi, I'm Brooke. I'm the one that's been on the practice of living, and here is the lady of the house of Purring Oaks.
Sometimes known as Lady Marmalade.
And I thought, because I always do this like monthly newsletter of what's going on here at Purring Oaks, where like when I'm not writing and not being obsessive with my new Substack hyperfixation, this is what I'm working on over here. So Lilla's the visionary. We have 60 acres of land here,
And we're gonna take you
and
on
we're
a
gonna
little
take
tour.
you on a little tour here. We are rewilding 60 acres here in Michigan, in which we have 60 acres, a spring-fed pond,
Two, actually,
two spring-fed ponds,
which we'll be walking by shortly.
which we will take you on a walk. And then we also have a 5,200 square foot property right behind us that we have multiple experience spaces like a sauna and massage room. We have a bog shop because lady of the house is also the bog witch. If you have like any cool vibes,
Bog Madam. We've been like trying to think of the right words for this, and it's like there's Bog Witch, Bog Mistress, Bog Queen, but not Bog Lady. It's just like, wait a sec, Bog Madam. Okay.
so the madam of the bog is behind me. And so we have a bog shop. We also have a sunroom that's the library and the writer's room of sorts. It has a co working station as well as a tea and coffee and breakfast bar.
Yeah, it like seasonally rotates, right? So in the winter we have cereal bar out, and then in the summer cereal gets really soggy and sad, so we do more like smoothies and that kind of thing.
And we have like an ice cream maker. You know that iCreamy.
The creamy.
Lilla also makes all homemade kombuchas here and yogurts and breads. And we do a pizza and movie night in our theater where we have cats and we call it Catopia. Where we love cats here. If you didn't get that we call this space Purring Oaks, we do have 5 cats.
It's not just for show.
Hi, Brianna, by the way. Hello, Mandy. Hello.
Chief Absurdist Officer. I like that. I don't know any of you because this is all Brooks project so far. Hello, hello.
But yes, if any of you have read the kind of newsletters of like what's going on in Purring Oaks, then like which I do kind of monthly right now, I just wanted to show you around and like actually show you what's in the back end of what am I doing that I actually get paid for.
Yeah, and your daily life, right? Because this is like your grounds. This is your lived experience every day.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it really like there's so much. I mean, the house alone, we were just debating should we show inside, outside, but it's such a gorgeous day. This is like the beginning of the best time of year in Michigan. The joke is that the like summer through fall is the spring through fall really is why people live in Michigan for the winter. Like it's why we tolerate the winter because it's so beautiful. So yeah, we thought we'd show you just a little bit like closer to the house some of our kitchen gardens and more like permaculture stuff that we're working on. And then the further out we go from the house, the less we've done because we're also just trying to let nature do its thing. But we can take you on a little bit of a loop and just show you kind of the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you were trying to find a place that's like a writer's retreat or just a place of sanctuary, we do residencies here. We do try to like help writers. Lilla is an academics and librarians.
My dad is a librarian, and I have a MA, PhD for both parents. So I was University of Chicago tribe. So that's definitely my background, and grew up with floor to ceiling bookshelves and all that jazz. So definitely have a soft spot for the written word. Yeah.
Which is why she's really into me being on Substack. And so I get to be here with you too. So I'm not only the organizer here, but I'm also a writer on Substack. So that's kind of my life is either writing for you or organizing these awesome spaces so that we can
So much.
both help humans, but also be stewards of a land. And like really that's an emphasis here in Michigan, with 60 acres, we're kind of like the small dot.
Yeah.
in a big space.
Yeah, and it's not about like ownership. Like I always thought that was kind of a weird thing that humans have of saying like I own this land, you know. Maybe if you say you own a house because that's man-made and you know you paid for those materials, but like owning land property is very strange to me. I mean, basically you're saying the government can't take this away from me without like a real fight. But yeah, we consider ourselves stewards more than owners just because we're, you know, yeah, we're just out here living with all the other folks and creatures and souls and trying to figure out that balance.
Which mostly is giving lots of birdseed
Oh
every
my God.
day at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah. And I literally just had a crisis before we got on here because I caught in real time a raccoon that figured out how to get up a like he came from a tree that was next door and he was like reaching and reaching and then he figured out he could hold on with one paw to like a skinny branch up here and then he could lean out and then he's like pawing for it and he caught the bird feeder and then the whole thing just started to sag down and I was like no because there's like 20 pounds of birdseed on the thing, so I just like chased him away and I had to move the whole thing just now, so there's always something going on. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're stewards of land, we have many birds, we have many cats, we have many raccoons.
Possum.
Possum.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a possum in the winter as our
Yeah.
best buddy.
Yeah, I don't think
So,
he ate it, but yeah.
what would you like to show first?
Yeah, can you
Uh,
turn the camera around or do you have to turn the phone
That
around?
is a good question.
We're learning technology. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Okay. Yeah, because that'll be easier than turning around.
So
So,
this is our very beginning because literally everything is getting planted.
yeah, so everything's just kind of taken off, but gosh, there's so many changes that are happening. We just looked at some garden sheds that are there's going to be a garden shed that goes
Right here.
that
A
yeah, that
big giant red barn.
yeah, you want to show them the version. It's the big version of the bird feeder.
Oh, it's gonna look just. You don't want to see our inspiration for the barn?
It's gonna be a human sized version.
It's gonna be this right here, but for people.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of things like staked out, flagged out, mostly because a lot of the seedlings right now are so tiny. They don't have flags. Even I don't know where the heck they are, and I'm the one who planted them. So it's basically just
Welcome to Orange Flag Land.
oh my God. So they sell 100 packs of these flags, right, online. And I've been buying, I don't even know how many 100 packs I've bought. Like, I bought one and I was like, this will last me all season. And then, like, 2 weeks later, I immediately needed another one. Then another 10 days, and I was like, oh, wow. Like, I need to just get, like,
We use a lot of these orange flags.
yeah, because we also are staking out a lot of things elsewhere on the property that we want to
These
save
just
from the mower, right?
blooms. So I
Oh, yeah.
know that everybody loves a bloom stack, right? We
Yeah,
have
this is our
many.
clematis.
It's got pink. Oh,
Yeah, and this one, unfortunately, the only flower on that's way
my
up top,
god!
but
And it's
it's purple.
purple.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful purple. And then this is a honeysuckle. That is not quite well. There's a couple of flowers that are just starting to open. So we get a lot of hummingbirds here. And I do have a feeder, but I really want to have you know, more just like plants for them. This is if anyone is interested in growing honeysuckle, just FYI, it's a very aggressive and hardy plant. It is like it just is trying to go everywhere. This is a grape, and I'm trying to give the grape space, but this honeysuckle just keeps being like, hey, can I have your trellis too? Can I go on the roof? Can I go behind the bed? Can I go over the edge of the bed? Like it is just everywhere. So
Also, we got rid of our old toilets when we purchased this place, and we decided we were gonna put flowers in these this summer. I
so yeah.
don't know if it's totally a wild idea or it's the perfect idea.
Well, yeah,
If
so
you have an idea for these, please write it down below. We are artists and we are weirdos, and while the inside of the space is very organized, I will say it is not your typical
retreat
space.
space or house or yeah, it just doesn't fall neatly into any
It is themed. If you like solar punk, if you like
installation art.
installation art,
Do you
if
like meow?
you like Meow Wolf, but also that was maybe too overstimulating for you, but you like the idea of installation, then
Yeah, it's like Meow Wolf, but like less neon, less aliens, less like techy, and more about like nature and like earth art, right? And like I don't know, organic shape come here is just that, within a couple hours, your nervous system hang out. And they just kind of like even a couple days in, they were still like doing that. But a lot of people will get here and they'll have that for like an hour, and then they'll be like, you know what? I think I'm gonna take a nap in the human-sized dog bed. And then they're just like taking a nap for 2 hours, and then they're like, whoa, I think I really needed that. And
And
then
sometimes they sleep more,
yeah,
even more.
and then we yeah, it's just kind of like you just you walk around and maybe visit the we have a nature center just 10 minutes away, which is really wonderful. Beach is also 10 minutes away, and multiple orchards and that kind of thing, so it really is choose your own adventure, but it's all yeah, it's all like hopefully designed with this idea of like a slower pace and like yeah, kind of like, I mean, for those of us who were born before the proliferation of the internet, right? Are we? What are we? Are we no, we're not
We
millennials.
are.
Are we? Okay. I don't even know. I'm so bad with this stuff, but
You are a millennial.
yeah, I guess we're cusp millennials.
I'm the eldest cusp of the
Yeah.
millennial.
But anyway, for those of us who remember, right, like having more like outdoor playtime and obviously no like without these devices constantly, like we're trying to hark a little bit back towards that, but also we're not like completely off grid. It's not like you can't go online or use your phone or that kind of thing. It's just how do we like move forward, I think, without just getting lost in the sauce of like the latest current tech fact. um, yeah.
If we do a video, maybe by next time or the time after, if you notice, there's these orange
Oh yeah.
lines here. And
Yep.
everything that we're setting up with these orange lines will eventually be stoned out and be like
With pavers.
areas with pavers and pathways, so that we're starting to actually like lay out the paths. I've been here for about a year. And so this is my first kind of summer understanding the needs of the space.
Like a year and a half because you guys came.
But even last summer, I was still
Mm.
just like getting my grounds.
Yeah, for
So I
sure.
feel like this summer, I'm like, okay, I get it. This, as you're looking over here,
I'm gonna
um,
walk over there.
as the summer like progresses, these are the old ones from last summer, but this is a path of sunflowers that you can walk through, and they get so tall, like so tall.
Yeah, they're the Russian mammoth kind.
I It's amazing. And they're so hardy that they're still here. Like these stalks.
Yeah. They're
This
like, and
stalk.
you can, it's like bigger than, like my hand won't fit around
Look
it.
at that thing.
Yeah, they really are.
It's enormous.
Yeah.
So eventually, which most people don't even know what this is, and honestly, like I had to learn to myself, this hole in the land will become what is known as a wallopini. A wallopini is an underground greenhouse, and it helps if you live in somewhere that has a winter to harvest for a longer amount of time, so it can actually convert the climate so that you can grow other things.
Yeah, it's basically just taking advantage of geothermal, right? So it's like, I guess what I would call like a sunken greenhouse, maybe, because obviously it's still open to the top to receive the sun, but the idea is that the north or the coldest wall, right, is 6 feet under, so that the essentially the body of the structure is actually under the ground, and then the relatively constant temperature of the earth throughout all seasons helps keep the internal temperature a little more stable, so you get your growing season extended a little bit, which is nice.
And if
So
you have any questions throughout any of this, we might be able to answer them.
we can
But if
try.
you have been trying to live, in a permaculture way, if you're trying to live with the land, if you're trying to grow for your farm for the first time, like we might have some answers, being that we've been doing this, and like what kind of trees to like plant and what age and what's the price point of all of this. Like all
Yeah.
those kind of questions we could answer. And I am an organizer, so like obviously I can help with the organizational element of that, that's what, my side of it is.
Yeah, and I think, we have a sort of extraordinary situation because we have so much space. So we almost have the opposite problem of like too much space, what to choose first. But for most people, right, it might be more like, hey, we've got 2 acres, we've got 5 acres. What would you prioritize? Or like, can we do this and this together?
Yeah.
So yeah, we could definitely help.
Or we have a half an acre.
Yeah,
What do we do?
I mean, half an acre is great for a food garden.
So that's a
Pack it in.
pile of wood chips. So because we have so much land, there's so many people that are chopping down trees, and then they have mulch, and they're like, can we drop this off at
Yeah,
your
it
land?
becomes a liability sometimes for the arborists. So sometimes they just drop it off for free. Oh, do you want to show them the bird divert? Like, just doesn't matter which one, but one of the windows.
Oh
This
yeah.
was something we did in the last couple of months, which I was very happy about.
What kind of tree is this?
This is a peach tree.
That's a peach tree.
Yeah, and these little guys. So, fun fact: these little guys are all apple seeds that I grew from grocery store apples. So, I've found that grocery store apples have some of the highest germination rates of like grocery store produce. You can literally every time you eat an apple, just cut open, like crack open the core, pull out whatever intact, like good-looking seeds. I don't know if this guy made it. It's a persimmon, but I don't know if it survived. But yeah, you can save those seeds, and they have a pretty high germination rate. So all these little apple trees are ones that I actually started growing them in Chicago back when I lived there a couple years ago. But yeah, so we just wanted to show you
two things.
Oh, yeah.
Because one
Can we see it?
because one is a cat through the window is a lily. Hi, Lily. Hi. But then if you look at the dots on the windows and you were like, what?
Why are all the
What are all these white dots? Is that like an aesthetic thing to make it cute? Well, yes, polka dots are cute. However, these white dots stop birds from running into the windows.
Yeah, by accident.
And since we have so many bird feeders and so much land
And so much glass.
and so much glass, we've actually gotten like thousands of birds to start coming here.
Yeah.
And we've become quite a bird sanctuary. So we not only have these white dots that stop, but we also got little collars for our kitties who come outside. So they have these reflective collars to stop the cats from getting.
Yeah, that makes
The
them more
birds.
noticeable, basically. So birds are more likely to see them, and I do think it has helped a lot. Because yeah, it's a pretty morally, difficult place to be. I think as a cat owner, when you also love the rest of nature and you have a space that attracts a lot of birds, because the truth is, outdoor cats are one of the largest reasons for death of birds. So you have to be aware of that fact, but also the cats are wild creatures too, and they love being outside, and it's really fun to see them run around and romp and climb trees and things like that. And we don't want to take that away from them, but how do you kind of compromise? So yeah, we've given them these collars. They're quite funny looking. Maybe we'll see Pepper and we can show them. But they basically like clown collar, like scrunchies, with these like bright colors. And birds are very visual, right? So it helps the birds immediately notice that there's something wrong, like something unusual in their environment, and fly away a little sooner. So,
and that was something we just got because
Yeah.
last summer there was a lot of birds. And this summer we have probably twice as many birds.
Yeah.
Because of how much we've rewild the property and how happy the animals are and how happy the land is. So, because of that, we didn't want to create more pain because we've brought them closer to us.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to, find that balance of it's like, okay, we live here too, but, trying not to cause any more death and suffering than we already do just by existing as humans.
And
And on these windows, I don't know if you can see it from here, but the dots are actually translucent. So this company, they're called Bird Divert. If anyone's interested, definitely look them up. They're great. I would really recommend these translucent dots. The adhesive on them was very different than the adhesive on the white dots. and they really were much easier to install. The only downside is that the white dots are better at preventing bird strikes. Oh, there's Olive.
One more kitty. We're just gonna keep introducing you to cats because that's important.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the
Yeah.
run, right?
This is Olive. Yeah, this is the beginning of the catio, but we are building a really, really large catio that will house a dining table and chairs so that we can hang out with the kitties as well.
Like a cat cafe.
Exactly. Oh, I know I love you too. Oh, oh,
Oh,
oh, someone else is
oh
coming.
yeah, so here's the clown collar.
Here's the clown collar,
Didn't realize
Pepe. Meow, he's the old man.
Yeah, Pepper is.
Pepper sounds like he's been smoking every day
Yeah.
for 25 years.
Once he lost his voice, he lost his meow. He got stuck outside somewhere overnight, and we think he might have just been outside meowing for us like for like 6 hours. And he came in the next day and he didn't have his meow. He was like, and we took him to the vet and stuff, and they were like, he's fine. He just his vocal cords are really tired. So that happened, but but also he just sounds like that all the time.
So if we keep going, I'm just gonna show you what we're building. So like I guess that's part of it because we are in the catio right now. But if you see these flags,
The pink ones, yeah.
these pink ones, it doesn't look like much, but it might be our most exciting project yet. We are going to carve out this whole space and build a platform and which will have two wood fire, hot tubs, solar showers, an area to change.
Yeah, and eventually like maybe a little cold plunge, like a clawfoot bathtub kind of situation. That would be like ideal if we can source one of those. But one thing at a time. Definitely hot tubs first. Priorities. I'm half Japanese, so in Japan we have a very beautiful culture of bathing, and bathing being like a social activity. It's not like this, very like zen. Meditative thing that I think sometimes, like in America, if you go to a spa, it's like you expect you're going to pay $600 for the day. You expect like silence and like wind chimes and like Ayurvedic food. And like, don't get me wrong, that's lovely too. But, in Asia, I think bathing culture is much more like, all right, $10, we're going to like the local baths. You bring your kids, you bring your friends.
But they're clean
Yeah,
and they're nice.
they're lovely. Yeah, they're really clean. They're really fun. They have all these different types of like tubs and saunas. We were just talking about since we're gonna have like a smaller tub and a bigger tub, one of them being like the herbal, like the smaller one being kind of this medicinal herbal tub that like changes seasonally. We do that in Japan a lot because there's either like fruits or herbs that we add to the water.
And as you can see, this will be your view from
Yeah.
the tub. So that was part of it, is we really wanted the view from the tub to be this, and then eventually build out a full room that's mostly glass with a full deck in the front of it. So that'll be our like Japanese onsen of sorts. And yeah, bringing a little bit of Japan to Michigan because why not? Because why not? I think like honestly, there's three of us that run the space, and between the three of us there's like 7 languages spoken, so
cultures, yeah.
we definitely are not just like and I think that's also what makes us a little bit different than a lot of spaces, is because of that multicultural background. It doesn't always do like what you would think of like folk schools or these like very specific Americana.
It's not like
kind of
firmly rooted in one, tradition so much. Like we really, all three of us have just either by birth or just by travel and activity as adults, we've just been around a lot. And yeah, it's hard, I think, to pick one thing when there's so much more and you want to share, all the elements that brought you joy. So yeah, it's a little bit of everything, but there's definitely, if you love Japanese culture, you're gonna love it here because that is, that's half of me. So that is a very strong element here. And yeah, in the house as well when we do a tour in there, you'll see some, design elements and things.
But today we kind of wanted to keep it outside because of the fact that a lot of what I try to write for Purring Oaks is so seasonal and so much about listening and tuning into the seasons. For me, it's like, using my knowledge of Chinese medicine and Ayurveda when I'm writing, but I think also just like understanding as we're stewards of the land that like we're also supposed to be flowing in each season, and summer just started, right? Like, so technically we're at the beginning of fire season, we're at the beginning of our heart, we're here to like tune into the heart, the tongue.
Mm. Would that be
um
taste as well? Like
yeah, it's
what are
like
the
really
topics?
it's about desire,
Mm.
and like really what do you want right now, and then maybe the attachment would be the like um small intestine, but that is like another whole thing, and that's later in the season, and that's more about like letting go in the sense of like what's not working, and like kind of carving out. But right now we're in kind of the beginning of the heart, like, and like I think that's why we start having these like desires to like take faster action. Maybe we have desires to make more connection. We like want to reach out. Maybe that's what's gotten me to even want to do a live video.
There's an exuberance, I think, to, that early summer vibe.
Yeah.
Where everyone is just, ready to go. And we've been cooped up all winter, and, spring kind of gets you going, but the summer's like, okay, now we can actually do all these things.
It's like do what brings you love, like brings you joy, brings you like that like satiated quality. I think that's like a little bit different than like the act of doing for the sake of doing.
Yeah, yeah, it's not like a Capricorn winter work energy, right?
Right.
Because there's that as well on the opposite end of the spectrum, but it's more like, yeah, like where the heart leads.
Like
Yeah.
joy bringing, because you know that winter's going to happen at some point and you're going to need to remember these moments.
Oh yeah, all too soon. I mean, man, yeah, time just flies.
So, okay, we're going to end on this patio. I think we've already done so many minutes, and I was going to like walk all the way to the pond, but I think that we just have to do that next time. There's literally 60 acres of land, so we're just going to have to do it slowly.
Oh, you can show the grapes.
Oh, welcome to grapes.
Yeah, so these are wild grapes. Let's see if they have any, if there's any like fruit that's getting, well, they're very, very small, but you can start to see the clusters of fruits here. How do you, oh my god.
I
This
just
is so
didn't.
hard.
I didn't flip it.
They're
I don't know why I did that. I didn't flip it.
Well, anyway, there's some little fruits here, and wild grapes are mostly seed, but they are mostly seed and mostly flavor. They don't have any like flesh to speak of, but they are great for flavoring like a juice, a kombucha, a tea, a baked good, and they have a beautiful like a really dark purple red color. So, very excited, yeah, for this year's harvest because they kind of have an off year and an on year.
So I did just get this, and they do light up. I don't know if we get any lights, but it also like does fun colors.
Does it stay one color or does it?
You can change the color,
Hmm, that's cute.
and there's a color changing. Oh yeah, how American.
No, it's other colors too. It's not just the.
Well, anywho, here we go.
I don't think they can see.
Well, you can't even see what I'm doing. But it was amazing for me. And so you got to experience joy through me. It's called sympathetic happiness.
Vicarious living.
This is important. The more that you have sympathetic joy, the more capacity for compassion you have for others suffering. So, learning how to feel others' joy is just as important.
And it's probably less of a scary entry point, right? I think a lot of times with compassion, we all get a little, scared because it's hard enough to deal with our own like painful experiences and then being like, oh my God, you want me to take on this other person's pain too? Like,
Mhm. Yeah. I found that like the more I house other people's pain, like the better capacity I have for my own.
Yeah, totally. I think that is definitely the reward on the other side of that experience. But it's kind of like what you were talking about when we were talking about with Joy, your friend who's a PhD in
I have
empathy
a yeah.
technology.
I have a friend named Joy who's like a PhD in empathy and compassion
It's
with the
like
name
so
Joy.
perfect. Yeah. But one thing that I think we were discussing then, right, was just this idea of like how do you create like technologies that take away some of that barrier to entry for people who don't have as much experience as you do, because you might be the person that I don't know Joy as well, so maybe she's as much as you, but in my experience, you're probably the person I know who has the most experience holding space, right, for other people's experiences. So if you're not Brooke, how do we enter that space? How do we start to do these things and not be, yeah, scared of that experience or
Which in
intimidated?
different videos that I do live will probably be discussing love and community and compassion and all the things that I pretty much write about. This is going to be the once a month kind of like welcome to the background of what I'm doing when I'm not writing.
Yeah, and a
So,
tour. I think it's nice to have little walk arounds. Things are always updating here. We're always building, renovating, redecorating.
and if
You know,
you're looking for a place to do a writer's retreat or a writer's residency, like we can do that. It's just going to be a little bit more unique and a little bit more. It's still going to have all the calming and all the things that you need from a writer's retreat. It just also has some other things that maybe you didn't even think about.
yeah,
So,
but I think it's tailored to a restful and inspiring experience. Yeah, I think we definitely try not to be overstimulating.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Lilla's background, since you don't know Lilla as much, you know that if you are following me, which like I think for live videos you have to be following me. So this is my first one. I don't know. Um, but uh I do, 20 years of somatic work and organizational development for nonprofits and consulting. So that's kind of my back end. And so you kind of have these writings that kind of are at the intersection of like organizational development and love and community, and then somatic healing and somatic like connection and embodiment are always going to be a part of it. And I try to tell stories that are a little bit more vulnerable and raw because I want to be doing it with you and no hierarchy. But Lilla is really kind of the when there's like writers retreats going, this is like kind of a crucial person. Well, I'm a writer and I've self-published once. Lilla's helped people self-publish multiple times and is an illustrator and has kind of those functional backgrounds on how to edit, how to.
Yeah, I've also spent a lot of years just as an editor and a ghostwriter, which is not fun, but it definitely it teaches you a lot just about the structure of writing and like what qualifies as good or bad writing in so many different fields. And I also have like 20 years of being a teacher and tutor in humanities, like mostly language and writing based stuff. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, a writer's retreat. Hopefully, most people are trying to write, things that are inspiring and personal, and not like a, it's not like you're coming here to try and write the best CV you've ever written or whatever. But I do think that some of that structural understanding and just like kind of the boring rules, right? Like it does carry whatever you're trying to write. You can be E. E. Cummings trying to write the most avant-garde poetry out there, but it's like it's the old thing of know the rules and then you get to break them. But at least just knowing, yeah, what are these rules and why do they say this is a rule?
So yeah, rules. Lilla knows these. Autistic misses rules all the time. So it's really a great balance.
Yeah, I think in general, like, yeah, we complement each other's like disparities and strengths.
And if
Pretty well.
you've been a person that's like wanting to market your books or wanting to market yourself on Substack or these kind of things that feel really icky, even like the word marketing and branding, I would say
Yeah.
like these days in a late stage capitalism, like a lot of this stuff feels weird. It feels like inauthentic. It feels like disingenuous, right? So I think I, for the last 20 years have been mostly a nonprofit or some sort of ethical business and had to redesign like models that felt in like some sort of alignment. Everything that I do is sliding scale and I'm like a firm believer in like not having paywalls and things like this. And I think if you were trying to go into publishing your book or doing marketing and branding that felt more in line with like your flow of life, like not a very straightforward formulaic way, but one that was kind of formatted for your ethics and values, then you would like what I do. But honestly, like I'm not for everyone, you know?
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
some people want to take this straight road, and that's not necessarily the way in which I function or work. So
Yeah, it's just probably not the way that we're going to be best qualified to give you the best advice. Because I think everybody here, in one way or another, we're always kind of, yeah, like not quite on that middle of the road path, and always trying to find alternatives, like viable, sustainable alternatives. Um, like, there must be more to this. Like, it can't be just this, right? If you've ever felt that, then yeah, that's kind of how
or
I
like you
felt
have
too.
to like pigeonhole yourself to be like marketable. Like you have to
Right.
niche in this like very specific way. I've noticed I've found myself like cringing at some names that feel like on Substack. I'll just be even honest, that like feels so like even the name of it is like winning in the alternative like neurodivergent this or queer this, like, and not that I'm neurodivergent, I'm queer, like I understand like if you want to go to a restaurant you need to know what kind of food it is. I totally get that, like sometimes that's there, but I also feel like we're in this era where we're like we shouldn't have to give ourselves so many labels to be understood. And I think there is like kind of this like in between space that you can be in, this like liminal space. It's like it's the what you write about. It's the like compounded like moments that people get to be with you, that we actually get to build trust in a very natural way. Trust doesn't just come, right? It has to be built. So I think
Yeah, it's not about finding the perfect algorithmically, aligned combination of keywords and titles and that generates trust, right? I think that's the problem is we've kind of fallen into this way of thinking that, every metric of success, whether it's just income or whether it's something like trust, yeah, it's like to be determined by a formula and, you know, press this button and this comes out.
and with the more AI there is, I think the more humanness and the more like mistakes and fallibility is going to be rewarded, honestly, because it's going to mean that we're actually showing up authentically and we're not trying to be performative and we're not trying to show you the perfect finished product. We're not going to clean our house before we show you the inside. Like, honestly, that is going to happen exactly as it is. It's going to be mid project over here and mid project over there, and you're going to see it. And
Yeah, just like the land currently has all these like random markers and, spray paint where this and that's going to
yeah.
happen. Like,
And it's not going to be even the messy that's branded messiness, because I think there's also branded messiness, where it's like messy in that really, really cute way, but it's just like my hair's just like it's just
yeah.
like not exact, so like I think there is so all these kinds of ways in which we've like found ways to think we're not being performative, but I think the moment it comes out of your mouth it's performative, so you have to try so hard to be true to who you are nowadays, because it's so scary to be you, because also at the same time, right, like as much as I'm saying we're nuanced and we're complex, I think I can see the difficulty of wanting to bring that nuance, because things like cancel culture and not being able to be comfortable with difference, and our algorithms have gotten us so comfortable with like only hanging out with people that we agree with and our confirmation bias. So I can see why like it's so scary. Oh god, I'm going to say this one thing and you're not going to like me anymore because I believe in this one thing. But I would hope that we're starting to understand that like you can disagree or dislike that I do this one thing and still think you like these other things that I do, and I'm all
Yeah.
around.
I think we have to because I mean, there's no clones, right? There's nobody out there who's just a walking replica of your tastes and your preferences. So I think it's just about being discerning. Yeah, where do we draw lines? Like, what kind of disagreement is like you know.
Or like what closeness of proximity. I think like I have a article I wrote called like the mess isn't yours to judge. And it was like mostly about like how do you love someone that's really like maybe like an unhealthy person, like
Mm.
you know, statistically like most of us aren't going to change, and I think even more so like statistically like most people are not as self-aware as they think they are, something like 80%. So if that's the case, then like change is really slow, and I think that we have this idea of change being fast even more so because of technology,
Yeah.
you know. So like it's like, okay, how much are we going to accept our friends who keep making the same mistakes? How much are we going to accept like our family members who say that kind of like racist thing every time we show up to dinner? Or like, you know, are we going to be able to love people at different distances and still love them? Like it's not that you have them not in your life, it's like kind of like if you're like a molecule and there's like those
Yeah,
like
concentric rings.
layers. You know, it's like at what ring level am I going to still love you? I think is the goal, and I think that's why I, you know, you say I'm a space holder. I think it's because of
Mm.
that,
Yeah.
right? It's that like I've never taken someone out of the love ring. I just put them in a different place where I can love them.
Yeah, yeah, and I think for a lot of us, myself included, it's very easy to be very trigger happy about like, yeah, an offense or hurt happening, and it's not that that offense or hurt isn't real. It's just that we have like such a strong reaction to it that we're like, okay, screw this person.
And maybe I screw that person for some time, you know?
Yeah,
That's okay too. If your feelings are too much for you to actually be able to love, that's also you honoring your capacity. But maybe it's just some time.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe it's just some time. And then it's also like I have people in my life that I don't call, I don't talk to. And like I still love them.
yeah.
Like that's the capacity. The capacity is that much. I don't even talk to them.
Yeah, but I think it's still better to try and have a loving attitude, even if you're at a distance. I mean, I believe in the whatever you want to call it, the metaverse, all these principles of like even in physics, right? They're starting to see that like action can happen at a distance. So, in other words, that perhaps our thoughts and intentions, what you might think of as like either a prayer or a hex or a curse on the other side, right? That they do have effects. So it's like if you send loving thoughts or at least positive thoughts out there, it's doing something. And if you send the opposite, it's also maybe doing something.
I think it's mostly doing something for you in a year too, right?
Yeah,
Like
but
holding all that tension.
I so above below, right? So like
Yeah.
if that negative or positive emotion is doing something here, it does
Oh
ripple
yeah,
out.
it definitely permeates.
Yeah.
Well, we went off the deep end here where we started talking. This is what Lilla and I sound like when we're not on a camera. So we're like really good at kind of just going with it. But if anyone has any questions about Purring Oaks, or you want to check out the newsletters now, I think I did a spring and late spring. I've only been on Substack for 2 months now, not even like a month and a half where I've actually taken it like remotely serious. But
And we're about to open one for me as well.
yeah, and Lila's gonna open one, and if you're like interested in tarot or these kind of like astrology, you're into readings of any kind, you're into spirituality, you're into mythos. If you're in transition
Yeah.
and you're in these kind of like sticky moments where you're kind of unclear what the next steps might be or where to find your footing and where to find your grounding, this is Lila's forte.
Yeah, and how to use like mythos and archetypal wisdom to navigate, these situations of unclarity.
Yeah, so I do have some witchy backgrounds myself, but they were more when I like was raised. So like later in life I got more into the science and the organizational and the like emotional and the body of everything. So not a lot of my writing will come very spiritual. So Lila's kind of that spiritual anchor for the space.
Yeah. So
But yeah. Thank you everyone for showing up. And like I really didn't think anyone would show up, so I'm really grateful. And again, feel free to privately message me. I am a human that loves like
Little discourse.
actual
Yeah.
discourse. I think the reason that I fell in love with Substack in this last month and a half is it does remind me of like Facebook 15 years ago.
Other social media platforms in their youth. Yeah.
When like people genuinely could write to each other and go, "Hey, I like this thing about you. Like, hey, let's chat. Hey, let's meet up in real life. Like, hey, let's do something together. Hey, would you like to write something with me?" And I really like the communal nature that's just happening pretty effortlessly. I see so many people inspiring other people and actually lifting other people and lifting other writers. And it's kind of this beautiful corner of the internet that still has um data points to let us know that people are inherently good, instead of like data points that let us know that we're like divisive. And then you go meet people in real life and you're like, wait, people are actually way nicer than they are online. I would say Substack is like the place where people are way nicer, so it's nice to have that where you're not being like overstimmed and inundated with just like things that make your nervous system sweat from the inside. So,
Yeah, yeah. So we're very excited to be here. And yeah, if you have any questions about Pring Oak specifically, would love to answer those or walk you through on another video. Love showing the place either in real life or remotely.
and if you want any kind of organizational skills or any kind of stuff about love, I'm probably going to be doing like tarot readings and conscious talks about love, as well as emotional body mapping, where we talk about like where the body stores pain and like what kind of emotions get stored in them. And so if you wanted to know more about that kind of stuff, I will be doing videos like that as well.
Yeah,
All right.
a lot of good stuff coming.
All right. Bye. Infinite love and gratitude. Oh, bye, Catherine.
Sorry, we just finished.